Alright, did that first game blow your mind? Alright, well, that's nothing, because now we're going to move right ahead to the second game, because if you're taking this test, you ain't going to stop and recap what's going on, what am I thinking right, thinking wrong, no. You're going to keep moving. Those are 3 roles of the LSAT. Never stop. Trust yourself, have that confidence, keep on going. So let's take a look at the second game. Our second game, we're doing archaeology. We have 6 old pieces of crap. We have figurine, a headdress, a jar, a necklace, a plaque, and a turban, whatever it is. Again, they always put in alphabetical order for us, something very nice that the Law School Admission Council does. Thank you very much. And you can set that up as F, H, J, and P, and T. Now, if we take a look at these rules, we're going from oldest to most recent, and look at the rules. Are the rules locked in, or are they more broad-based? Probably tell they're more broad-based, which means this is a looser kind of game. This is what's called, classically, a loose sequencing game. So we can set up, actually, it's called the Christmas tree sketch. Now, we can't just put these things into slots. We can't go slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, slot 4, slot 5, slot 6, because there's too many hypotheticals. We can't know who's in 1, who's in 4, who's in 5. We know that because the rules are so broad that there's no way we could lock that stuff in. So what we're going to do is we set up a sketch based around the spatial relationships that everybody has. So, for example, let's take a look at the first role. We know that F is older, which means it comes before both J and H. So you could make F, down, J, other side, H. Bet. First role. Let's look at the second role. We got the necklace and the jar. They're both older than the turban. I'm just going to call it turban because I don't know what the hell that word even means. So we know that the necklace and the jar are both older than T. Now, we know we've seen J before because J showed up in which rule? Yeah, the first rule. We know that F is before J, before H. So if F is before J and J is before T, obviously F is before T. Just makes sense. We got to have F before the turban. So we could have J, we could have it go dash down to T. Notice how we're connecting everything, and that's what the Christmas tree sketch does. It simplifies the whole sketch. Now, we've got N, the necklace. Has the necklace shown up before in a rule? No, it has not. So we can't assume that the necklace is before or after the figurine, or before or after the headdress. We have no idea what the hell is going on with the necklace, so we're just going to put the necklace off to the side, because remember, if we put something on top or below something, or have any kind of arrow for it, that's constituting a spatial relationship. And we don't know jack about the necklace yet. So we're going to put the necklace off to the side, and we know the necklace is going to be pointing down at T, because N must be before T, as the rule clearly stipulates. The necklace and the jar are both in front of the turban. We have our final rule. What our final rule is saying is that either P comes before H and N, or H and N both come before P. So, what I would do here, and I don't normally do this in loose sequencing games, because in loose sequencing games, sometimes what that last rule could do is it could set up a formal logic statement. It could say something like, for example, well, if we have P before H, then this happens. This rule isn't doing that. We have to have one or the other. Now, if you notice that our master sketch, just totally forgetting about P, because we haven't played around with P yet, we don't know anything about P, we already have 5 things set up. P is our last thing. So instead of worrying about P and we have this rule, either this or that, blah, 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 to stress ourselves out as we go through all the questions, why not just solve the game pre-sketch? Because this rule is setting it up for us. Setting up where we could just do just that. And actually, this game, by logic game standards, these 2 games, so far, have been pretty damn easy compared to what you might see on any LSAT you normally take. So we could take that P, and we know that if P is in front of H and in front of N, we can set up that P. We can set that P on the side, because we don't know anything about the P. We don't know if it's before the figurine, after the figurine. We have no idea. But what we know is that P is before H, and P is also before N. If P is before N, we know from our J and N before T rule that P is consequently before T as well. What about J? We don't know anything about J. That's why we make sure we keep the P separated from J. We don't have any arrow from P pointing at J. We don't have anything like that. In fact, I would just put these guys on different ends of the spectrum. Let's not even put them in the same room. Let's just separate them, because we don't know anything about the P whatsoever. Conversely, we could also create a second sketch where we would just replicate that first sketch that we put in before we put the P. And we're going to put the P, like the rule stipulates, the other end of it, H and N before P. So we're going to put H before P, and we're going to put N before P. So we know both H and N come before P. That doesn't mean that P comes last. P could still come in front of T. In fact, P could still come in front of J. There's just no way that we can know until we get a question that directly stipulates something specific about P in that scenario. And important to note, the way we approach our loose sequencing games is when we get an if, we do a sketch-based question. So for example, if we take a look at question number 9 here, if the figurine is third, so if we set up the figurine as third, we're going to create a strict sequencing sketch because that is specific information. And now, what everybody should be asking themselves as they're going through this is, if we put the figurine third, we have 6 things. How many things must come after the figurine? And as you think about it, you're looking off of our master sketch, we know there are 3 things that must come after the figurine. Those 3 things are J and H, which our first rule says figurine definitely comes before J and H. So that would be 4 or 5. We know definitely T. We know T because J comes before T and F is before J. So if F is before J and J is before T, F must be before T. Sounds confusing? Better example. We know that if LeBron James is a better basketball player than Dwayne Wade, and Dwayne Wade is a better basketball player than me, LeBron James is a better basketball player than me. Well, obviously this is just an LSAT example and not true to reality because we all know I could probably kick the crap out of LeBron James in a basketball game, but in terms of this rule, Dwayne Wade is better than me and LeBron James is better than Dwayne Wade. LeBron is better than me. No questions asked. Just logic. It's actually called it's logic. It's the way it works. Somebody's better than somebody. That somebody's better than somebody else. That somebody is better than somebody else. Just the way it works. So we know F is in front of H, J, and T. So we know third has got to be F. Fourth could be H or J, because we don't know who's first between H or J. No, but there's no way we can know. Then we have T. So our fifth is going to be H, J, or T, because it's possible we could have T come fifth. Because if we put J fourth, no reason we can't put T fifth. Now for sixth we can't put J. Why can't we put J sixth? Probably noticed J has to come in front of T. If J has to come in front of T, it can never go last. Think about it. If he has to come in front of somebody, how can we ever put him last? If LeBron James is not the worst basketball player in the National Basketball Association, how can we ever rank him last in the NBA? You can't. So, J is out. Last could be either H or T. So now let's think about first and second. First and second, we have left N and P. Well, I want you to think about this. If you didn't set up the 2 sketches, because if you set the 2 sketches here, it would be absolutely apparent where you're putting one. But even if you didn't, we have that third rule. We got to have P in front of H and N, or H and N in front of P. What's the earliest we could have H? That's right, fourth. So therefore, we can't have P fifth or sixth. So we know we're on the other end of that rule. P's in front of H and N. So we know P's in front of N. 2 slots left. Gotta have P first. Gotta have N second. Which one of the following must be second? Gotta be N. That is one of the choices. I don't want to break copyright law, but it's gotta be N. That's just the way it works. This is actually pretty fun. Now that we're going with this, if we're putting plaque first, then exactly, this is just the next question, exactly how many artifacts are there, which one of which could be second? So we know we got our P in first. Now we know we could definitely have N second. Certainly we could switch this up. Anyway, we could switch this up. Well, looking at the sketch, we're putting P first. Who else could go second, just looking at our master sketch? Everybody throw that out there? Is there somebody else you could see that could go second, besides P? If you see, we got F in front of J, in front of H, in front of T. That's 2. So, we got these 3 represented in J, H, and T. Could J, H, and T ever go first? No, because J and H gotta go after F. First rule says that directly. And T's got to go after J, which must go after F. So T, you could just forget about T. That turbine, no turbines are going to be going first in this logic game or any logic game that has a turbine. So, that is our second game. Right up there. Loose sequencing game. Not such a hard loose sequencing game. I hope you all liked it.